doing webinars, Zooms, where you're the expert in the market and you're pouring into the community with information. Don't be afraid to get out there in the market and take the lead.
Rich Rector, welcome to Overachiever Central. We are so delighted. I am specifically delighted to have you pour into us today because you were my first coach in leadership in the team leader role way back when. I want to say it was a Tuesday in the year 2015. And you are really a proven veteran in coaching in terms of finding talent and influencing talent. And really just you're responsible for signing no less than 2,700 real estate professionals who are also highly esteemed. And I just feel like you are the subject matter expert in terms of really leading leaders and building profitable brokerages. Frankly, you're just a subject matter expert. So welcome and thank you for being you.
Well, thank you for including me.
Of course, absolutely. So let's just jump right into it, right? Right now, things have changed in the last couple of months. That's putting it lightly, right?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit, right? And we know that there is most certainly a worldwide pandemic. So we honor the fact that our first responsibility is to remain healthy and to protect our families, and just delicately placing that on the side for now. We need to talk about business because we know that business funds our big lives, right? And so in light of the worldwide pandemic, it's been stated that right now is essentially game time to not recruit, yet technically rescue a lot of talented brokerages, people, sales team wise, and also brokerage wise. So I would just love to hear what's in your brain in terms of why now is a special window of opportunity.
Sure. Well, a couple of things. This is my third shift, so to speak. I think Gary was saying yesterday that he's been through 6. And, it's what he's saying really is, the age, we're on the Titanic, there's water in the boat and nobody knows that there's water on the boat. They're still dancing and at dinner and all that stuff, right? Noah's Ark, same kind of thing. The sun's shining, so everybody's saying, what are you doing building a boat? That's urgency, I think, is the biggest thing, is that we have to act urgent. And Gary did that so well with us in 2008, in that market shift where, here's the tactics, here's the strategies, went on the road, started, teaching the shift strategies and tactics to the whole company. And we just got into action. And it's because we were urgent and got into action that saved a lot of us. I mean, if you remember, we were number 4 as a company. We came out number 1 with the shift, right? 45%, almost half of the NAR membership, the agents and brokers in the industry washed out of the business. And we doubled in size and tripled agents production. That's almost unheard of when the market constricted by almost half. And it's because we acted with urgency. So urgency does matter. Who you're in business with matters right now. And I agree with you. The first month and a half was, how are you doing? How can we help you? We're all in this together, community, all of that. Great. We still need to communicate that because this is a real thing that's going on health-wise. Yet people have to make a living. People have to be able to live their life as well, right?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, this health situation crisis is going to affect a small percentage of a population, and it could be even us, and we feel for everybody, but yet the 95% of the people that it's not going to affect, we have to help serve them. We have to help them move their lives forward. It's the same thing with 9/11. I mean, we have to get people back to what they want to accomplish, and the people that have businesses earning a living, Otherwise, it's going to be devastating for those families as well. And so we have a duty to the community to support them and help them and be the consultants. A couple things right now that are going on, markets of the moment, like we talk about in Shift.
Yeah.
One is absentee owners. We're seeing a lot of those go on the market and sell across the country in bigger numbers than we typically would see. And that's, I think, obvious because they're frustrated. People aren't paying rents and all those things. But the big one is forbearance. I think that's the market of the moment, forbearance, that a lot of people don't understand. And if we can get in front of that to really help the consumer to understand that, we can save a lot of people from really damaging their credit, from having the situations where they may get foreclosed on, and all those things. And their best opportunity might be to list their home right now when they really understand their options, because we're at the height of the market. And if the market adjusts, which most people, including Gary, think that's going to happen, and probably next year, they could cash out, rent, save their credit, and buy the same type of property at a lot less next year versus what may happen to a lot of these people. So it's helping the consumers, right now. And since 80% of the agents haven't been working in the traditional sense,
Mm-hmm.
there's a great opportunity for our agents to really serve them. And that's why it's so great that we have 41,000 people in Bold right now, where we're moving people into action to help serve the community as well as help them with their business. Because there's two markets, right? There's the uptick that we're starting to see and that we're going to see as the safe at home gets lifted from
Mm-hmm.
the demand over the last 2 months. And then the real market's going to show up, right? Which is getting through the unemployment and the forbearance and the economic disasters that we've kind of created, and all of that stuff, and the shift that we've been 2 years overdue for, right?
Right.
And has to happen anyways, and this is just what caused it. So it's, do you have a blueprint of success long term, and do you have a plan of action for the short term to grab as much market share in business as you possibly can? That's how we have to communicate to the agents when we're talking to them, not only our own but also the recruits.
Sure.
So
Makes
yeah,
perfect sense. And I love what you're saying in terms of the forbearance opportunity to grow the business, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions among consumers, and agents being empowered with the right information first is significant, right? Because you certainly want to diagnose someone's situation in the right manner. And I think there's a lot of consumers who are going to be burned badly by that.
yeah,
We saw it in 2008, 9, even 10, and it's not fun to get a big bill at the at the end of a forbearance agreement. It's not an agreement, it's a disagreement, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. I just had a coaching call earlier today with somebody in New Jersey, and one of their mega agents, one of their deals just got blown out because the mortgage company found out they were in forbearance and they were buying a home. They were in forbearance not because they couldn't afford their payments, because they thought it was a CARES Act program that they can just go get free money, like what people are doing with their credit cards and car payments. And now all of a sudden the deals just blew out, 2 transactions, and consumers don't know that, agents don't know that. And so, that's just one example of somebody that might not get foreclosed on or lose their credit, but yet thought they were taking advantage of something, and now it's messed up their transaction of moving.
right, right, how horrible. And it could have been avoided, I'm sure, with just a little
Totally, it's just lack
education.
of understanding, which is where we come in.
Yeah. So what strengths do you feel top performers such as your coaching clients and maps are bringing to the table at this time?
I think that it's one of urgency, right? It's care and concern, and I think we all agree, and we've done that, and we're continuing to do that and pour into our people. But it's really just acting urgent, right? We can't be like everybody else and say things are okay and things are going to be back to normal and all that stuff, and just be the internal optimist. We have to, like Gary says, hope for the best but prepare for the worst. And it's the leaders that are getting into action to help move their agents forward, and to talk to the recruits and the candidates about what is your broker done for you in the last 8 weeks since the crisis started, right? Because
Right.
if they haven't poured into you and helped you with solutions and strategies and tactics and tools in the last 8 weeks, don't hold your breath, because this is the most money the brokerage community is going to have for a while, because we're getting ready to deal with the repercussions of nothing happening for the last 2 months in June and July and August. So, how are they helping you? How are they helping you through the most critical time probably in your real estate career, this crisis? What have they done for you in the last 2 months? Here's what we've done,
Mhm.
right? Stimulus package with Gary and coaching in Bold, 41,000 people in Bold, right? We're not laying off people. We're pouring into them. We're acting with urgency. We've got shift. We've got plans, strategies, masterminding. Look at the live stream training going on all day long. This is what we're doing, right, to help agents move forward. What is your broker doing? It's nothing personal. You may have outgrown your brokerage. Not everybody has the resources and will have the resources to survive this. If you just look at past history and other shifts, right? 45% of the agents and brokers too got blown out of the business. So who you're in business with matters is really the thing that it's important for them to communicate and to demonstrate as well. Who you're in business with does matter. And you can just look at how your brokers responded over the last 8 weeks versus what we're doing and say, hey, is that the ship that you want to navigate these stormy seas with? And if it is, great, but just make sure that you know what boat you're getting on,
Yeah.
because you can't get off once you go out in the ocean. So it's helping them understand that. And we need to find the motivated, another shift tactic, right? Market of the, then find the motivated. We got to find the motivator. Now, one of the things that we've experienced, and it's starting to loosen up this week, is that agents are just optimistic. Hey, things are going to be fine. I'm good. Business is okay. Life's great. And there was no urgency. And so we really need to just find the motive, the people that get it, that being prepared is better than being unprepared. And typically that's the higher level producers. They're the ones that are busy right now because they had business and they've been working, but yet they also have the most to protect because of what they could lose. So they typically are understanding, and a lot of those people have been through the 2008 market shift. So
Right.
they get that being prepared is important, technology is important, lead systems important, cutting my expenses, tech audits important, all those things they're understanding that. However, a lot of them have not been through the '08 shift. I was just on a call right before this call with a gal who's talking to a $10 million producer that wasn't in the business in 2008. And so her recruit was saying, "Hey, I'm good. Business is great." And so I just said, a great neutralizing question is, "That's awesome. Can I ask you, were you in real estate in 2008 during the last market downturn, or what they call the Great Recession?" Boom. "Well, no, I wasn't." "Oh, wow. So you haven't been through a market correction before."
Right.
Wow. And as a $10 million producer, GCI close to 300,000, I'm sure it's important for you to want to protect your business. Could you use some strategies, some tactics as a blueprint to help you navigate through a market correction, assuming that we're going to go through one,
Right.
right? All markets have shifts. It's just a matter of time before when we have one, and this is probably a good setup for one.
Sure, absolutely. And you're masterful at creating the system or flow chart or, coaching mechanism, if you will, that guides a leader who's in a position to influence a big producer like that to align with the Yankees of real estate, if you will. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm not sure what your baseball thing is, but let's just say that really the creme de la creme, the best of the best environment. And so I think a lot of leaders get stuck in, how much of the cookie do you kind of give, right? Because, we're not compensated to coach and continually help someone who's perceived as competition. So how do you guide that leader, right, who is really pouring in and helping someone who hasn't been through the last shift or 3 or 6 shifts, and who kind of doesn't know what's around the bend, and kind of, our value is experiential. So how do you guide that person in that position to help someone who's outside of our environment to align
Sure.
in?
Two ways. One is we have to be a consultant, so we have to really master the needs analysis and the right questions to ask. One of the best questions to ask right now either to open or as an objection handler, is what's the biggest challenge that you're facing right now in your real estate business over the last 8 weeks since the crisis started? Everybody has one. And so that allows you to go into whatever direction that is. Routine, kids at home, schedule, no plan, leads, listings, whatever that is, right? And we got all solutions for all that. So that's a great question. So it's asking the right questions to lead them. That's the mastery of recruiting experienced agents, is mastering that needs analysis. To your question, what am I doing if I'm pouring into people and how do I convert them? Obviously, we want to expose them to our training. We want them involved in all these great live streams and Bold Pivot and all the things that we got going on. So you want to transition by just saying, hey, are you benefiting from what you're learning? Did you get a lot out of the Bold Facebook page or the Pivot class or whatever? Yes, great. So how would you like to experience that on a daily basis? This is what we do all day long, is we pour into people all day long at this level. How would you like to experience this on a regular basis? I mean, you're getting bits and pieces of it because we're coaching or we're talking, you're coming to a class now and then. Can you imagine being in this environment on a daily basis, what that would look like?
Right. And we know you're a product of your professional environment, right?
Yes, we all are, right? So again, get them to quantify. I see that a lot of leaders aren't getting them to quantify. Yes, I see that being beneficial. How many additional transactions do you think you could add to your business over the next year? Just be conservative. If you were plugged into an environment like this, with this kind of training and activity and support going on every day, what do you think? And when they give you a number, checkmate. That's money they're losing by not moving forward, right?
Exactly.
To the questions, what's the gap? What's your biggest challenge? What's your goal? Where are you at? Here's the gap. How do you see yourself getting over the gap? We're almost at the halfway point in the year. Now we have this whole market situation and crisis. How do you see yourself getting there? And you get them to surrender to the fact that they're in a dilemma. They don't have the solutions on how to get there. And so that's going to impact their big why. That's going to impact their family. So do you have concerns about that? Would you like to talk about how to break through that? Right? Because they've outgrown their broker at that point. They've hit a plateau and they don't have any solutions to get to that next level. What's going to be different? Especially now going into a market where brokers are going to have less resources.
It's true.
Getting them to having that conversation where the light bulb goes on or you hit them over the head, whatever you want to call it, is what has to happen to create urgency and get these people moving, right? The good news is that this is going to be a great recruiting opportunity for the next few years for us, just like it was in '08. And we're going to have incredible momentum because we have the technology and the tools and all this stuff. It's getting it moving is the challenge. And it was like this in '08, and it's like this in every market shift. It's getting people moving because they're just optimistic. Everything's going to be okay. Or they're paralyzed with fear. And right now we're getting them moving and it's starting to happen.
It's so true.
You want to promote the success of when you're having success more than ever right now. This person just joined. This person's just winning. Lead accelerator leads are coming in and 100 leads for $100. I mean, all this stuff we want to push out to give people hope that we have solutions, we have tools, we have technology that's working.
That's such a great point to tell our story. And I'm fascinated that it's really still a talking point, right? I don't know if, who's really articulating the story at a high level. I would say it's probably KWRI, and we can model right after them. So it's so true. It can't be a secret. Like we tell our agents, don't be a secret agent. I feel like it's the same thing in leadership. And I also see an opportunity for mega agents to attract talent that maybe they wouldn't have been able to afford, let's say, in their business plan, right? Because look, with millions upon millions of people unemployed, I feel like that's just a great opportunity to elevate, a mega agent's game to have a world-class administrative or OSA, or, imagine someone who's booking them on 5 extra listing appointments every week. And frankly, they come with a coupon and you want to pour into that person and incentivize them and get them to earn great income. But I do feel like people who were not hireable, is that a word? Help.
Yes.
The people who you couldn't afford technically in the past are now most likely looking on Indeed and looking for opportunities. We're starting to see that already. Have your coaching
Oh
clients?
yeah, for sure. And Gary talks about that. I mean, would you if you listen to top millionaires and billionaires and top successful, this is one of the most exciting things that they're excited about right now is when we go through these kind of situations, talent shows up
Yeah.
for all the reasons you just said. They're available because of the unemployment. They're available because other companies are downsizing and have to make adjustments. And or people are showing up because they're like, I don't want to work for the man. I need to go build my own business, and they get into real estate or on teams because they want that safe haven, right? Of being with a proven group of people that have a lot of transactions and a lot of leads because they need that support, right? Or they see the opportunity that, hey, I can help this mega agent as a CEO coming in and really help them explode their business like we saw so many people do in the last 10 years. The
Yes.
Lansons, the Ben Kennys, look at what they did with their production and business. And they did that, and they'll be the first to tell you by finding talent, right? And
Yeah.
so it's a great opportunity to find talent, including for us as leaders, staff, and teammates and people, to help us with our market centers and looking at what the market center of the future looks like. That's one of the things that I'm talking to a lot of my clients about right now, because we have to be successful in this kind of environment. You got to be able to adapt quickly. You got to act with urgency, right? You have to have an open mind, and you can't be stuck in what worked in the past.
Yes. Because there really is no going back per se. I love it when people say, "Oh, when we get back to normal." Excuse me, that was yesterday. That is like not happening. Actually, I'm never. By the way, Rich, I don't know about you, but I'm never shaking anyone's hand ever again. No, thank you. I'm good. How
There
about
you
you?
go.
Yeah.
See, new normal. See, it's just all these things, and you have to be able to adapt and take that into our environment. I mean, the
Yeah.
next question is how much office space do we need, right? Hey, do we need tech coordinators to concierge, which I'm just implementing this week, to actually do it for them, not train them, but do
Mhm.
it for them, right? Do we need marketing concierge to just do it for them? Do agents want to come in and just say, here's my listing, buy, I want to go get another one? Or do they want to, are they going to do it themselves? And those are things that we're looking at as a market center, because as you know, I'm a multiple market center owner OP. And so we're looking at in our community, what's next? Because
Yes.
business as usual is probably not, you know, a good plan.
Right. And I think geography and zip codes are becoming less and less relevant. I was just talking to Hall of Fame team leader, KW veteran Mary Beth Olive about this earlier this morning is, hey, I was on a Zoom with an OP in Alabama and an OP with 3 offices in PA, and it was great. And I never left my home office, right?
There
That's
you
where you
go.
are right now, right? Are you not in your bright and sunny Huntington Beach, California home office? Is my best.
That's it. That's it. And we're talking on the other side of the country, right? There you go.
So thank you for waking up early for us. I'm watching your time. We have 4 minutes. So really in terms of some approaches, let's get tactical just for a moment. You opened up by talking about absentee landlord campaigns, which I'm very passionate about because I'm in that, not absentee, but landlord boat where there's some coupons going around for tenants, which is outstanding and timely, frankly, for some. And then others, I think, it doesn't apply to them, the CARES Act, but why not? Type of thing. So I am a fan of that. Could you just kind of guide us into how you're guiding some of your coaching clients to focus on that specific tactic and kind of maybe what that sounds like?
Yeah. Well, for example, next week I'm doing with my team leader, and it was her idea. We're doing a forbearance webinar and inviting all the agents in our community and obviously all our people. So doing webinars, Zooms, where you're the expert in the market and you're pouring into the community with information. The shift tactics we did a month ago. I'm doing a independent broker mastermind. We're doing our second one of those. And just don't be afraid to get out there in the market and take the lead, right? So take the lead with these events and classes and webinars, and attract the community by them, because they want information. Have them listen and hear what you're talking about, and then that's how you're going to get them to say, that's the boat I need to be on, right? So that's one. And then the other thing that you had mentioned, that's a strategy that I've been sharing with my clients that we're implementing as well in our office, is tell your story. So why not create a series of 6 or 7, 2, 3 minute, 4-minute videos max, and just have that be part of your drip campaign that you text out, you email out into the agents, into the community for the agents, that tell your story about, hey, do you need more leads? I mean, all the things we want to communicate. Do you need more leads? We've got an incredible Facebook tool called Lead Accelerator. You can get leads for $1. It's working really well right now. You need more leads to fill your pipeline. Is your pipeline shrinking? That whole message, right? Hey, how are you going to compete against, Zillow and the tech giants? They're going to be stronger than ever coming into this new market. Do you have a way to compete? Did you know that 92% of the buyers start their search online, and guess what apps they're using? Not yours, those. So are you able to compete with that? I mean, saying that message, right? And the shift message, 45% of the people washed out. Were you in the business? Do you need tactics and strategies that allowed us to triple agent production and double in size? Happy to share them with you. So all the things that we want to say that we can't get people to listen to right now, chunk them down into like just a message where you're just communicating a thought.
Sure.
Like we talked about at the very beginning, even though the sun's shining, prepare for the storm because it's right around the corner. It's just layering in these messages so that it's going to start resonating with people at the right time. You know what? That makes sense. Forbearance. Wow, that makes sense. I do need more leads. Wow, I should prepare for a new market because I wasn't in the business in 2008. Those kind of things. Zillow, yeah, that makes sense, right? So that's another thing that I'm suggesting people do right now is tell your story that way, and always tell your story with agents joining, right? Agents winning in your office, especially right now, because that's what they want to see. We're posting every single day when an agent has a transaction or takes a listing on our internal hub, Facebook, and external as well, so that people see that we're doing business.
Sure. Yeah, it's what happened in the last 24 hours. And that's another opportunity for the agents via video. Do you have a Huntington Beach market update on YouTube that's maybe 37 seconds long? I mean, which one of your agents is doing that? And same for us in New Jersey. So there's a great opportunity to be that local real estate economist, right?
Yep. Every morning at 9:00 a.m., my team leader does that, where she has a 30-minute, and it's internal and external, and she talks about shift tactics or things from Bold, and always updates every Monday the stats from the week before, right? And we push that out so that agents know that in LA there's business happening. It might not be the same degree as it was 3 months ago, but it's still happening. So while you're on the couch, there was 1,000 new listings in LA taken, not by you, but guess what, right?
So true. It's not a snow day, right?
Right. We don't have snow here at the beach, but okay.
Fair enough. It's not raining.
Right.
Listen, so grateful for you, and you're such a giver, and you're so kind, and I am just honored to have your brain today. So Rich Rector, thank you a million.
Thank you for including me. It's great to see you. Always great to talk to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Rich.
Bye-bye.
Bye.